They will never say it in speeches, never write it in textbooks, never confess it even to themselves. Yet behind the curtains the fear is the same everywhere. The world does not tremble before tanks or corporations. It trembles before something far smaller, far sharper. It trembles before you, the man who cannot be owned. You've been told the laughter is because you are single. You've been told the pity is because you walk alone. That is the mask. The truth is darker. They do not mock you because you are weak. They fear you because you are free. Look carefully at the net spread across your life. Marriage, mortgages, debts, endless routines disguised as responsibility, politics disguised as loyalty, rituals disguised as faith. Each is presented as duty. Each can also become a leash. Once tied, a man no longer walks by choice. He walks because he is pulled. He is safe, predictable, tame. But the man who stands outside of it, the man who owes nothing, who kneels to no master, who is tied to no leash, suddenly he becomes unpredictable. And unpredictability is the greatest terror of any system that survives on control. Nietzsche called it herd morality. The herd does not despise the wolf because it is wicked. The herd despises the wolf because it is free. And that is you, the wolf moving silently in a valley of sheep. History whispers the same lesson. Socrates condemned, not for violence, but for daring to ask questions the herd could not answer. Diogenes laughed at kings, lived in a barrel, and yet his shadow humiliated the conqueror of nations. Tesla electrified the earth and still belonged to no one, not to a family, not to a throne, not to a church. Their crime was not arrogance, their crime was independence. And so, every culture invents stories to demonize the solitary. The bachelor becomes the failure, the monk becomes the madman, the hermit becomes the useless. Why? Because the existence of one free man is evidence that freedom is possible, and that evidence destabilizes everything. This is why they hurry to shame you. They ask, when will you marry? When will you have children? When will you settle? But understand, those questions are not for your protection. They are for theirs. They are the herd's attempt to drag you back, to chain you beside them so they no longer feel the shame of their own submission. Think clearly. A man with no wife cannot be destroyed by divorce. A man with no children cannot be trapped with guilt. A man with no debt cannot be bent by interest. A man with no master cannot be bribed by promotions. And a man with no leash cannot be pulled. This is the core of their fear. Because once a man realizes he is untied, once he learns to walk without their approval, their entire system begins to crack. And so they invent weapons, not swords, not guns, but words. Immature, selfish, irresponsible, dangerous. They throw these labels like chains, hoping you will wear them willingly. But they are not truths, they are tools. Tools designed to scare you back into the cage. Remember, control only works on the man who has something to lose. Divorce tames the husband, fear tames the father, debt tames the consumer, promotion tames the worker. But the man with nothing tying him down, he is a shadow in their machine. He is unreadable. He is untouchable. That is why your independence is not weakness. It is their weakness, because you live outside their map, and what cannot be mapped cannot be controlled. This is why they fear you, not because you are alone, but because you cannot be owned. Society pretends it loves order, but what it really loves is predictability. A herd that moves together, marries together, spends together, obeys together, because sameness is safety for them. And when even one man steps outside, the illusion shatters. That is why they never forgive the solitary. He is not proof of failure, he is proof of freedom, and proof is dangerous. Look at the parables of every age. When the desert monks walked into silence, churches called them heretics. When Galileo said the earth was not the center, they locked him away. When Jung broke from Freud to follow his own visions, the world called him unstable. When Zarathustra descended to men, he left again, because the crowd corrupts the spirit. These men were not destroyed because they were weak. They were condemned because they could not be owned. This is the pattern you must see. Political systems, religious orders, financial machines, all survive by taming the man, and all panic when a man refuses the leash. So they disguise their fear in insults: arrogant, selfish, lost. But these are not descriptions, they are confessions. They are admitting that your freedom makes them slaves by comparison. And here is the inversion you must burn into your mind. What society praises, obedience, compromise, conformity, is often weakness. What society condemns, solitude, defiance, disobedience, is often strength. They taught you to be ashamed of walking alone, but shame is their weapon. It keeps you from discovering your own power. The moment you realize solitude is not loneliness but liberty, you become untouchable. Think of your own life. How many times have you been told you cannot live like this forever? How many times have you been pitied as if singleness were disease? That pity is not care. It is fear wearing a mask of advice. They are not afraid for you, they are afraid of you. Because you are the reminder that chains are not necessary. And here is the secret no one will tell you. Power belongs not to the man who owns the most, but to the man who needs the least. The easiest man to control is the one drowning in obligations, a mortgage, a wife he does not love, children used as tools, a boss who feeds him just enough to keep him alive. That man cannot rebel, he cannot move, he cannot risk, he is predictable, he is safe, he is harmless. But you are different. You can vanish tomorrow. You can change cities, change crafts, change the rhythm of your life. You can do what the herd never dares. That is why your independence is their nightmare. Machiavelli understood it centuries ago. The man who cannot be bribed or blackmailed is the most dangerous of all. A prince may command soldiers. A priest may command prayers. But the man who belongs to no one is beyond them both. This is why the culture rushes to paint you as broken. Sitcoms mock the single man as the loser. Movies cast him as the creep. Headlines label him the unstable loner. And if he succeeds, they call him selfish. Do you see the pattern? Whatever he does, he must appear broken. Because if the truth escapes, that solitude is strength, their entire system trembles. Nietzsche named this resentment the sickness of the weak. The slave who pretends his chains are virtue and calls your freedom sin. It is envy, weaponized as morality. But here is the fire you must feel. Every time you believe their lie, you hand them power. Every time you bow your head to their shame, you become smaller than you are. No more. Their insults are not truth. They are proof. Proof that your very existence burns their illusions. So wear every insult as armor. Dangerous, selfish, unstable, these are not wounds, they are crowns. Because if you were harmless, they would not fear you. Solitude is not emptiness. It is the forge where dangerous men are made. Alone, you are not drained by demands, not bent by false duties, not infected by herd thought. Alone, you hear your own voice. Alone, you belong only to yourself. And the man who belongs only to himself cannot be owned. Carl Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming whole, not by following the herd but by facing your own depths until your own strength rises. It is not easy, it is not comfortable, but it is the only path to becoming untouchable. Because when you have faced your own shadows, no one else's shadow can frighten you again. Think of the lone wolf. The herd mocks him as doomed, but look closer, he hunts when he wants, rests when he wants, moves where he wants. The pack must compromise. The lone wolf obeys no one. That freedom makes him unpredictable, and unpredictable means untouchable. Greatness has never been born in crowds. It is born in silence, in solitude, in struggle. And here is the death you must accept, the death of the own self. The self that begged for permission, the self that explained itself to the herd, the self that sat waiting for a seat at the table. That self is gone, buried. From this moment, you are not a man who waits. You are the man who arrives. And when you arrive, the world will not ask you to explain. It will tremble. This is not the end. This is the beginning. From this moment forward, you never again bow to shame, never again kneel to their rules, never again carry their chains, because you are not the man they can own. You are the man they fear. And remember Nietzsche's eternal warning. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. That struggle is now yours. That oath is now yours. That power is now yours. You are the man society fears. Prove it.